Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review, episode number 281. This I'm viewing the 281st episode of Boruto Next Generation's anime, The Eighth Truth, and I'm also discussing the 76th chapter of the manga. Now this is definitely the end of this arc. And I'll get to my final feelings about this arc, my final thoughts on this arc once I finish talking about the episode. So we left off last week. Well, yeah, actually yesterday, anyways, where like Barth wakes up and of course Rinzo and Yomito basically wake up too, which is kind of strange. Why would the heck these two wake up at the same time? The Kyusei basically stabbed them too. Well, not revealed per se, and they go basically like with Reba, but they don't know how to do it. So they basically just decide to just walk around trying to go escape and just basically contact them. Meanwhile, on the outside. Actually, I'll get to that when I get to finish talking about the episode. So they walk around for a bit, and turn their head in circles, end up in the same room, and then eventually Boruto, and of course Yumito gets infected by the poisoning, and of course Rizu goes off on his own, and ends up being attacked by the Oga puppet from the first episode of this arc. First official episode, anyways. Yeah, and then of course, we have Boruto. So I try to get him to kill her, and of course Bart's like, no, and then she feels that, nope, she's not actually her at all. This character, who appearing at the start of this very story arc, has been a fictitious character within the story itself. Because it turns out, even though he woke up from the Genjutsu, he's still in a Genjutsu. I'm like, what? Yeah, seriously. Now, how about seen this before? Yes. In Star Trek, they had an episode like this where you had a holodeck within a holodeck. Yeah, it was kind of weird. So, it turns out she is actually Oga. And of course, that Oga's not just not an old man. Oh no. It turns out that was nothing more than just a ruse to tell you about the fact that Oga is an outer, number 8, and she's a beautiful woman. Okay. And by the way, and Barnes does not notice this at all, the viewer, notices, there is a stone chair with a Rinnegan symbol on it. Why the heck is it there? And why the heck does this area look very similar to the headquarters of Kara? Don't know, because they never, they say that this is from Armando's interrogation when they mention this place. Yeah, because they actually show it. Yeah, this place is like the spitting image of Kara's headquarters. Now, why in the world should we create this? Not thoroughly explained per se, and she says the only way to end the Genjutsu is that Boruto stab her. So Boruto's like, nope, we're not gonna do that. And of course they proceed to run away, and she like falls, and then all of a sudden, like everybody just, and we cut to the outside where Sadara is basically begging, because they wait on their day, like come back, and Mitsuke basically takes the communications device. Thinks like, oh yeah, it's offensive here on the mission. And then all of a sudden, Boruto calls them. Yes, Boruto calls them. They're out of the Genjutsu. So, by the way, they do mention that the whole thing was actually an illusion. What they got is basically just roll the scroll. And she wakes up, and apparently she left behind a letter for him. And everybody's there. Of course, Boruto does not mention to Shimu that, in fact, the girl they've been following, the ninja girl who looked like Tenten, is not a real person. It was only made up of the Genjutsu. It was actually Oga herself. Yep, and of course she goes off, walks on her own. Apparently she reveals in the episode she was Armando's assistant. Something which the main manga never mentioned he had assistants. I'm sure Boruto probably would be talking to him about this at some point, but in the manga, this is made for the anime. Apparently, they mentioned about Jugen. I'm like, that's interesting, they mentioned Jugen. This first time since his death, back in episode 220 is brought up. I'm like, damn. That's interesting. Yes. So she walks off and presumably never seen again. And of course, everyone's so happy. And then the episode ends right there. Just there. I'm like, really? We don't have like a meetup with Boruto and the rest of Team 7? Nope. We have to cut straight to the credits because we have to promote the Sasuke Rendon light novel adaptation. Because that's sort of next week. So, for the conclusion of the story arc, it's okay. The story arc itself, I kind of feel as though basically you watch it, it seems like, oh, we get good progression of the story. And then the last few episodes, and this is my person. I think there must have been a rewrite for this thing. It seems like they had to change direction for this story arc. Oh yeah, it's a virtual reality, and maybe they're planning to have this arc last a little bit longer. Maybe also Para did not want to have this arc last as long as the Mitsuki disappearance arc, which that lasted longer than it should have. Like if you cut up basically about 10 of the episodes, it would have been a heck of a lot more easier to sit through. But no, it's like 20, 30 episodes. I mean, if they wanted to, they probably could have this thing last for another 2 episodes. But because this was announced, they probably had to wrap up the story really quickly because they announced, oh yeah, we're going to have this light novel for the anime for reasons. Yep. Now I did hear some rumblings that the voice actress for Sakura is basically out with illness, and the one guy speculated that they're going to write her out, replace her with the Boruto characters. And from what I've heard, that's not going to be the case. Sakura is going to be in this arc when featured. From what I can tell from the preview, it looks like Boruto is not in the preview at all. Maybe because he's not in the actual book itself. And you could say this is presumably set before the events of the TV show. I probably would be surprised they include Boruto at the start of this particular adaptation. They did it for the Ninja Scrolls, like the very beginning, but he's not sitting into the finale. Yep. But I'm definitely looking forward to what they do with it, but I'm going to have to read the light novel first before the adaptation comes out, which is next week. So yeah, that's it for the review for the episode. Yes, the arc is interesting at best. I kind of felt this though that they planned to have it last a little bit longer than it did. I mean, it only lasted maybe 7 episodes. Like, really? 7 episodes? Yeah, you think of the arc of the magnitude this is, that they might have it last a little bit longer. Like, you watch a story, you presume basically it's going to last maybe 9, maybe 10 episodes. It seems as though that maybe they planned to have basically last a little longer than it did, but they probably had to rush some episodes. Maybe they cancel an episode and rush the conclusion of this arc mainly because of the adaptation happening next week. Alright. Moving on to the newest chapter of the manga, Chapter 76, A Girl's Sanctuary, which Ida is in the cover. Because they're adapting the Code arc, I would not be surprised if they adapt it for the anime. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that. So, we start with Bar talking to Momoshiki. Like, if I was going to see. And of course, the whole thing is about talking point, like. And of course, you have apparently Shikamaru talking to Ida via communications device, presumably. They don't say it's communications device, but it actually is. Let him ask about the whole thing about his daughter being an ordinary woman. Ask about the karma stuff. And of course, I'm going to be embarrassed by his daughter. And of course, then we have something interesting happen. Ida looks through the window, and she sees something. And of course, see Master Armando. And she's like, "Hey, Shika dear, I'm tired. Can we call it a day?" Huh? Well, Eros did just arrive at Cool Lodge earlier today. Good point. Maybe we should prioritize our needs over yours. It's okay, we need to adapt our new life quickly, too. Let's look in tomorrow. Yeah, and of course you have Boruto just sleeping in a bed, like in this B&B. You have Damien sleeping in the same bed as his beautiful sister. And she's like staring out and look like possibly like a wall or something, look like cocky. And of course they wake up the next day, have a meal. And of course, Kawaki mentions that he sold out Boruto, that she sold out Boruto the code in exchange for my safety. Oh, that agreement. Well, Ida. Yeah, say her name, like. And of course, Damon's getting jealous because his beautiful sister is basically getting more attention than he is. Which is so funny. And he's like, "There's not enough girls here. I can't supposed to proper like this." He's like, "Huh? Is Slaughter nearby? Slaughter's nearby, isn't she? Call her over. And Kai, too. Kai Sasumari. Her, too. Some of them now." Okay. Now, here's the thing. She probably knew about Sada, but how the heck did she know about Susumri? This is quite strange, to say the least. And apparently these two are immune to her charm. Yeah, that's one thing that's revealed in this chapter. These two are somehow immune to her charm. Shikadai comes in too because he's a son of Shikamaru. And apparently he's not immune to the jutsu. Now, in the case of who is immune to the jutsu, do confirm Baruto and Kawaki because of Akatsuki. Her brother, obviously. But apparently Sadara and Susumari are immune to it. Which is strange. Of course, Delta appears here. And of course, basically, like, oh, Shikadai. I'm sorry, Shikadai. Nice to meet you, but would you mind going home? Sure, no problem. What's my say? Where'd you come anyways? Yep. And then, of course, we have the girls go to another room. And Baruto's looking at them. They're sitting on a bed. Yep. And, of course, we have girl talk. Yes, girl talk. And by the way, they're in bed. They have their shoes off. Now, it is quite strange to see a scene where you have the same... You see a scene where you have Susumari and Sadara in the same room together. From what I can tell, aside from being in class, this is probably the first of these two have actually done this before. Of course, she's talking about Kawaki, and of course, basically somehow, like... Sorry. Yeah, and here's the thing. Somehow, someway, Sadara is immune to it. I'm guessing it's because she's a Uchiha. She's probably immune to a charm like this. But Susumari, my guess is probably due to her to her creature. That's my possibility. And then, of course, we have her ask the obvious question. Susumari asks the obvious question. So, what did you like about Kawaki? Let's see. He's an Akatsuki who wants some ability given, but let's be honest, I never really know myself. My chest gets all tight thinking about him. Yes, seriously. And then apparently we see here some mind jutsu, where apparently you look at this and like, what, is Susumari and Sadara speaking telepathically? Yes. Because there is a jutsu that allows you to speak telepathically. It's called the mind. I think it's similar to like a radio jutsu, but basically it's done with your mind. And you usually only people associated with Ino's clan, they're the ones that do it. But my guess is the reason why these two would do it is because Ino probably has special frequency for these two. That's my personal guess. So yeah, it's revealed these two are not affected by it somehow. The fact these two are immune to it, which would be quite strange. Yeah, and that theory what I just had about Sadara being or Chia being immune to it, that's just a theory I have. I don't know. They don't really explain it. And of course, then she asks the question, what do you think about Boruto? Boruto? Yeah, and of course, fine. Can't stop pounding. I really hate this curse ability. Like, thanks, so I can't have an ordinary boyfriend, or even have ordinary friends. And of course, they have to be friends, and of course, they accept. Me. Of course, I chat about it for a bit. And of course, they'll help me on so can we just be ordinary friends? Yeah. Anyways, constantly watching Boruto, but these two are different. You two get close to Ida without raising an alarm. Catch them by surprise. And then Mitsuki turns back in. I may have it now. The identity of her charm power. Huh? Not you again. What did you say? Do not concern yourself. Our thoughts are really crossing over again. Think of it as like I was talking to myself. That depends on details. What about charm's power? You bet you're going to blank out your mind? Stop thinking about anything. Stop thinking of anything. I will let you. Hey, Baruto, that look on your face. Who are you talking to? You? You're there, aren't you? Quit and come out. Osaki Momoshiki. So apparently he found out that he's talking to Momoshiki. Interesting. I'm like, this is actually some pretty good chapter. I like it. I kind of wish it basically lasted a little bit longer than it did. It's almost like reading it. It's like, supposed to be more here, but limited amount of pages. Yeah, basically this it's like they had to end it right here because they had to have a cliffhanger. But yeah, I do count as a good chapter. Give it 10 out of 10. It's really good. We are progressing this particular new story arc really well. Yep. So yeah, that's the particular review. Next up, it's gonna be Case Closed. Yep. And after that, it will be Chainsaw Man. After Chainsaw Man, Walking Through School Emercon, Spy X Family, and then finally, My Hero Academia. Okay, next video. Bye.